and live.
Hey, good morning from the office. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning, Monday morning. Good Monday morning in North Georgia. Beautiful Monday morning. Nice weekend. A little rain, a little storm came through Saturday night. Nothing to get too upset. We have to have the garden rain, what we call the garden rain. So it was a nice weekend. Beautiful Apple Blossom Festival. Great time. Thank you, Gilmer Chamber. You did an outstanding job, each and every one over there that worked so hard. That festival is it's not too big. It's just the right size to enjoy. It's so enjoyable and pet friendly. I mean, Amanda, I want to thank you and Sam for this past weekend, all your hard work, both of you, of making the festival happen for FYN TV, Fetcher News. And it wasn't hard to see that it was very pet friendly, was it not?
It was, and kid friendly.
Kid and pet friendly.
The free kid activities had it going this weekend.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we had a great time. We hope you made it down. And we have plenty of pictures on our Facebook page, Fetcher News. Let's open up this morning, telling you a little bit of what we got going on. Now, you know, folks, have you noticed that the media has elevated, okay, Stormy Daniels? They feel they got to brush her up. This may be, they gotta elevate her a little bit, because this may be what they could do to bring the president down. Okay, Stormy revealed, which we already knew it, on Saturday Night Live. They used Saturday Night Live to reveal her true motive to get the resignation of the President of the United States, so she could lead the way. She's like the Rudolph of the sleigh, leading the way to try to take down the President of the United States. Any judge, I bet Robert Mueller was sitting home, no matter what Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski say, no matter what CNN says, I bet Mueller was sitting home cringing. You want to talk about Rudy Giuliani, and all of the shows that he has been on in the last week, and we'll talk about that. They won't talk about that, but I bet Mueller cringed when Stormy Daniels said on Saturday Night Live, and supposedly Alec Baldwin, which plays Donald Trump on there, said, "What do you want, Stormy, to make all this go away?" And she said, "What about your resignation?" Now, they will cover that of, this is a comedy show. This is comedy. You can get away with certain things in comedy. But we have known all along the motive of the left, who she's working for, who's Michael Avenatti, who's paying his bills. Because it's certainly not Stormy Daniels. You'll never convince me that Stormy Daniels is paying Michael Avenatti's bills, her attorney. But have you noticed the media has elevated her from a porn star? Now, when CNN first started, and MSNBC and ABC, and when they all first started with her, she was a porn star. Now she's an adult film actress. Have you noticed that throughout this morning on Morning Joe and CNN, she is Stormy Daniels, the adult film actress? Why, she's not just a porn star, she's an adult film actress. She has lines. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. If you would like to call, text the show, 706-889-9700, 706-889-9700, and also you can email us, chief at fetchernews.com. Follow us on Twitter at FetcherNews, at FYNTV, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, FYNTV Fetcher News. And anytime we have a live broadcast, you will get a notification. Now, at 8:30, our guest will be Georgia Secretary of State Brian Kemp, who is a candidate for governor, Georgia governor candidate on the Republican ticket. We'll have him on at 8:30. His new campaign ad, which we're going to talk about it because it's still got some steam behind it. It's running on TV. Some would say he hit a home run with it. I mean, that's just saying that. Is the Jake, okay? The rules of dating my daughter, this young man. Liberal groups from Glamour magazine. I read like 9 different articles on this. Liberal groups, their heads have spun off. So this has worked in a twofold effect for the candidate here. We're going to talk about the making of that commercial with Brian Kemp at 8:30. So he'll be on here. And what else we got? We're channeling this morning the ghost of Ronald Reagan. Now, before I get too far into some other things, Rudy Giuliani and some other things, this is what we don't hear enough of from candidates, and you as voters do not take as serious as I think we should. So don't take that wrong, okay? It's not really a flashy, it's not something that just really stands out in a campaign. Obviously, Second Amendment, pro-life. You'll have candidates argue who will be the most pro-life. You'll have candidates argue who will protect the Second Amendment, and so on and so forth. Who will now drain the swamp? But we don't talk enough or take serious enough who will be the governor, who will be the president of the United States that will stop and help. A good portion of our swamp is what's being upheld in these liberal activist courts. Okay? So, in the state of Georgia, let me just give you an example here. No matter who, I don't know all the other states out there, but no matter who resigns, from Superior Court on up, Court of Appeals, Supreme Court, the governor appoints the judge. Now, if a judge in the middle of a term in the state of Georgia, Superior Court judge right in the middle of a term, decides they want to retire, and there's an open seat on the bench, there's called the Judicial Nominating Committee. And judges around the state can enter their name to be selected to fill a position that is open in the state of Georgia on the bench. All of that being said, the governor has that right to appoint. Now, where am I going on this? No matter what state you live in, no matter who you think should be president of the United States, it should be very important, okay, the pillars of our republic, that we get rid of these activist judges and appoint conservative judges for the bench. So we're channeling the ghost of Ronald Reagan this morning. Now, well, that reminds me. John McCain, I understand, is putting the guest list together for his funeral. This is true, right? And Donald Trump is not on the guest list. He has said he'd prefer Donald Trump not be at his funeral. Okay. There you go. Now, T.S. Ellis III. Who is T.S. Ellis III? Well, T.S. Ellis III happens to be the judge last week that told the legal team of the special counsel, Robert Mueller, come on, man. Come on. You're just trying to make Manafort sing. You're just trying to get him through this 2005 case to flip on the president. Your goal is to find somebody that can give you enough information for impeachment. Now, that's not the quote, but we have them. But here's what's interesting that you and I have to remember. If you feel the Mueller investigation is a witch hunt, okay, and that it should end today, The MSNBC did not talk about it this morning. They just did not talk about it. They're not talking about it. But this judge really scolded the Mueller team where Paul Manafort's concerned. T.S. Ellis III, senior judge of the United States District Court for the Eastern District of Virginia. He was appointed by Ronald Reagan. Yes. In 1987, he's a Ronald Reagan appointee. Reagan is gone. These people have such an effect on the courts. And we've watched the liberal courts. A Reagan appointee. Now, we have a second judge that we will get into a little later. There has been two. This is a minor maybe, but there's been two judges this week that have taken the Mueller special counsel team to task. The second judge is Dabney, I think it's Dabney Frederick. Okay? Dabney Frederick. Let's see, United States Judge of the United States District Court for the District of Columbia. Appointed by, this judge assumed office December 1st, 2017. Appointed by Donald Trump. Look, I know it's not glamorous this morning to talk about judges, but we must when casting a vote. We must remember that these governors and these and federal judges, state judges, state Supreme Court, all the way down to Superior Court, we need to stop activist judges. Period. Two judges this week that has given Mueller's counsel, special counsel, a little heartburn. One appointed by Ronald Reagan, the second one appointed by Donald Trump. I just thought I would say that, obviously. You know, we have a long week ahead of us. It's election time. I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware. Are you aware, Amanda, they've moved her from a porn star to an adult film actress? I mean, they're trying to brush her up a little bit because she may have to testify before Congress, whatever. All right?
Yeah, they're beefing up her character a little bit.
The judge said, unfettered power, unfettered power. Judge Ellis said, unfettered power. Judge Ellis also looks, come on, man. Really? No. Your goal is to, let's see, Ellis said, you really care about getting information Mr. Manafort can give you that will reflect on Mr. Trump and lead to his prosecution or impeachment. That's what you care about. Put Ellis back up. I can't see, but is that Ellis? That's what he said. You really care about getting information, making him sing, okay? Now, you got to understand, Rod Rosenstein wrote the special counsel's powers almost unlimited. Yes, when he appointed Mueller, he gave him almost, and this is why the judge said this, the American people feel pretty strongly about no one having unfettered power. Okay? They just can't run amok, is what this judge said. I don't care what Rod Rosenstein wrote in your scope of work. You got to remember, Rod Rosenstein, the appointed Mueller as special counsel and wrote his scope of work and basically left it wide open. Well, this judge said, the Constitution is definitely clear that the American people feel pretty strong about having unfettered power, okay? And you really care about getting information on Mr. Manafort that would reflect to a lead of prosecution or impeachment. So Rudy has been slouching on every show. He's been slouching and slurring on every show he can find. Rudy Giuliani has. He's been to everyone. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. I agree with Rudy Giuliani. It's no big deal, okay? It's no big deal. They came out because, you see, what you see happening to Michael Cohen, what you see, they will destroy Michael Cohen. They're trying to destroy his family. Where he took out supposedly with his in-laws or his parents or something, he got a home equity loan. They will destroy, they will go through his parents, they will go through his in-laws, they will go through everything. They are doing everything to destroy this man. And that's what they do. They try to destroy their lives and make it so bad, it's so painful on them and their family members that they flip, sing like a canary. Okay, Donald Trump, here's a couple things. We're almost, we only got 10 minutes before we have to go to break. We'll have Brian Kemp. Look, Donald Trump to the American people is like dinner and a show. It just is, like dinner and a show, okay? He, on his policy, this administration is rock solid, okay? Take Michael Cohen down, please. On the policy, this administration is rock solid. When it comes to the trade, this administration is rock solid. They're sending delegations to China. Economic discussions are happening. When it comes to policy in the United Nations, this administration is rock solid. That's the dinner. It's meat and potatoes. When it comes to the North Korean negotiations for denuclearizing the peninsula, this administration is rock solid. Absolutely. Iran. This administration is doing so well talking to Angela Merkel, okay? Macron of France, rock solid. When it comes to policy in this administration, it is absolutely rock solid. And the American people know that. And the American people, he is creeping up at the 50% approval. He's going to cross the 50% approval in an enormous way, okay? He's going to cross the 50% approval in an enormous way when the 3 Korean Americans are freed and actually come home. He's going to cross the 50% American approval, its approval rating, when there is progress in North Korea. He's going to cross over this 50% mark at a time when the November elections hit. Because, see, the majority of American people are going to work this morning because we're looking at a 4% unemployment. We're actually full unemployment in America. All right? So they're going to work. The Stormy Daniels is the show. I mean, with President Trump, you get dinner and a show. It's a show, okay? And it's quite laughable, as serious it is that they're trying to take down the President of the United States. It's quite laughable on some days. So I, for one, do not worry in so many ways on what's going on with the media. Other than this one thing, folks, I do not think, let's just make sure we're clear. I do not think the media is going to say, or the Democrats, or the deep state, which I do believe in, is going to say, oh, okay, Trump didn't do anything and it's over. I don't think so. I don't think there's a point where, even if the special counsel ends, I don't think there's a point where they come out and say, oh, okay, Trump is cleared. He'll never be cleared according to them. They will never stop till they figure something out. And you better hope and pray, I hate to say this, you better hope and pray that Nancy Pelosi is not Speaker of the House, okay? I want to move one thing. I've got 5 minutes, okay? President Trump is actually really out there. He's out there pushing. He was at the NRA this past weekend. He's tweeting like crazy this morning. There's some kind of plan between him and Giuliani to keep the council spinning so bad. All right, there's some kind of plan here. All right, the 13 angry Democrats, and this is a tweet 40 minutes ago. I just didn't want to start. I could have opened the show with nothing but President Donald Trump's tweets. The 13 angry Democrats in charge of the Russian witch hunt are starting to find out that there is a court system in place that actually protects people from injustice, and just wait till the courts get to see your unrevealed conflicts of interest. Okay? Now, what did I start with this morning? Court system. What did I start with this morning? Bringing up the ghost of Ronald Reagan. The Russian witch hunt is rapidly losing credibility. House Intelligence Committee found no collusion, coordination of anything else with Russia. So now the probe says, okay, what else is there? How about obstruction for a made-up phony crime? There is no it's called fighting back. So Stormy Daniels says, hey, how about what can I do to help you get, for you to get over this? What do you want, Stormy? Maybe your resignation. Oh, but she said it on Saturday Night Live. Michael Avenatti, we'll talk about that in the 9 o'clock hour, made every single show Sunday, every single one. They made sure they brought up Rudy Giuliani or somebody else, and then Michael Avenatti right behind them. And who's paying his bills? Wonder what his retainer looks like. I wonder if they're making monthly payments into Michael Avenatti's account for Stormy to represent her. I wonder if he said, "Oh, I'll get the money later, but I'll incur all the costs now." Wonder who's paying Avenatti's bills to go to all of these places, to be at all of these interviews. Or will he just get the money later? Is he fronting some upfront money of his own? Would attorneys do that? Because that's what Michael Cohen may have done, fronted some upfront money. Never know. Let's go to this really quick because we're getting ready to come up on a break. I got 3 minutes. When I come back, we're going to have Brian Kemp on the line. But I do want to go into Blankenship. Tomorrow, I want to break this down a little bit today, and we'll talk about it again tomorrow. Blankenship surging on the eve of West Virginia Senate primary. Now, Joe Manchin is named the Democrat senator of West Virginia the most vulnerable in the upcoming election. The state that could probably flip and most vulnerable is Joe Manchin. But here is Blankenship, Don Blankenship. You got his picture. Here is Don Blankenship surging on the eve of the West Virginia primary. Okay. Now, Blankenship was the owner of Upper Big Branch Mine, and the explosion in 2010 killed 29 workers. But he tells an interesting story of what happened with the government. You see, this guy is a candidate amongst three. Evan Jenkins is the sitting representative, okay, that's running for Senate. And then Morrissey is the Attorney General of the state of West Virginia. And then Blankenship spent a year in prison from the Obama Justice Department for a misdemeanor. Only one in prison at that time, serving for a misdemeanor. He is surging. We're going to talk about that because what if he wins the Republican primary?
What was the actual charge?
I'm not for sure. They reduced it down. They went after him for the working conditions, the mines. They went after him all kinds of things, and he had 3 actually felony counts against him. Okay, felony counts against him, and they reduced them down, and they disappeared. And he had 1 misdemeanor that he served a year, and he's still on probation. Okay, folks. I'm your host, BKP. We've got to take a short break. We're going to talk about this because what if he wins tomorrow night? What if he wins and President Trump is not endorsing him? All right? So if Blankenship comes out, they said, I'm going to tell you this. They said if Blankenship wins, that could be the best news. The best news Joe Manchin could get is Blankenship to win the primary. I disagree. I watched that debate the other night. I've read several articles, but when Fox News, Brett Baer, and Martha McCowan hosted that debate and moderated it, I watched it. And I'm telling you right now, Blankenship is not Roy Moore. But he must endure a Roy Moore type takedown if he wins. We're going to talk about that. I'm your host, BKP. We'll take a break. It's 8:27, and we should have Brian Kemp on the line when we